Francisco has some pretty lenient laws when it comes to animals in the city. You could have a cow or a pig or what have you here if you had an acre or more. So there's some land requirements. I was obsessed with having a chicken for a while. I kept wandering around saying, I really want a chicken. And then I started to read in magazines that people were raising chickens in their urban backyards, and I thought, no, really? And so I told my husband we were going to get chickens. He's like, ooh, chicken smell, I don't want a chicken. I want a goat. And I was like, well, we can't have goats. So I went forward with my chicken idea, and then later I was looking up, I was like, well, I wonder if you can have a goat in an urban backyard. Come on, lady. Come on, let's go. Come on. In San Francisco, you are legally allowed to have 2 female goats for family purposes. I don't know what that means, but I have interpreted the law to mean exactly what it says, so she is my family purpose. The woman who used to own this house, she grew up here. She told me that up until the late 60s, early 70s, just down the street here, there was a little farm, and they had a cow and some goats, and I think they even had a pig and chickens, and it was just the little corner farm. You know, even just one generation ago, there was a knowledge about how food is produced, where it comes from, and there was a very strong connection to it. My generation has almost no knowledge of how things are produced, and I think that's the desire for a lot of people to go back and look at how actually food gets to the table. And when you go through the processes of getting food to your table, you realize how much work it is, and that a lot of these other mechanisms that have come into play have been used to maybe simplify the process or make it easier, but in that making it easier, it's been to the detriment of our health and welfare. So she's a really bad milker, so that's why I have my little cheating machine. She's on her lower end of producing. At the height of production, she would give me about 5 cups of milk a day, on average a quart. Now she produces about 3 cups a day, and we usually just use it for fresh milk. I make some cheeses, fresh cheeses, feta cheese. I've started to make some hard cheeses, but we don't get a ton of milk. The amount of work that I put into this, it's much easier for me to go get some silly job and go over to the big name box store over here across the street from me. It's a much better deal for me to go over there and buy my cheese for $5 for a brick rather than spending 2 days making cheese for my own goat's milk that I had to milk the goats 4 times to get enough milk, you know, to produce it. It doesn't make any kind of sense on any level, except that I now know what all goes into it, and I appreciate where my food comes from a lot more, and I appreciate what farmers do. Oh, you are such a little snot. Now you cut it out right now.
Do you want to be a farmer, or do you want to be an urban farmer? Do you like that role?
Yes, I mean, I guess I secretly would want to be a farmer, though I don't think that, you know, my husband doesn't really want to live out in the country, and I don't really either. I like what I get in the city here. This is not the lifestyle for everybody, for sure, and it wouldn't make sense for everybody to be. If there was a goat in every backyard, there would be a lot of people that wouldn't take proper care of their animals, just like dogs and cats. You know, we would end up with this similar problems. My neighbor over here from Honduras, she's really funny. I think this is the kind of thing that she's trying to get away from. You know, she moved here for the better life where you don't have to do all the things yourself. So I always know when she's thinking I'm gone over the top. Oh,
Heidi. Oh, Heidi. Really?
Yeah, the freezer downstairs is full too.
So do more than you can use.
No, I'll use that all for cheese. So there's a bunch of different, I just need to get my cheese making refrigerator for my coffee.
Do you like it better than regular milk?
Well, you know, it's the breed of goat that makes the flavor. So, yes. I have jars of everything in there.
That looks like goat stuff,
Cheese.
right?
Yeah, goat cheese.
And then up here too.
Whey.
Oh, that's what
What are you guys doing? Are you guys going to show your tricks? I think it would be great to see cities produce more of their own food rather than sourcing out so much. So I provide eggs for my neighbors, for other people in my community. It would be nice that, you know, if there were a few people on each block that were raising things to share. And I do think that everyone should have a vegetable garden to get a grasp as to how much work it takes to actually get that one itty bitty food product into your mouth. This plant, I'll have you know, last year produced 19 artichokes. Get some of these. Old leaves of goat love these. It's good to have a relationship to live things. What good I have? But should everyone have a goat? No, probably not.
Chickens? Easier?
Oh, chickens are like cats. They're independent. They just do their own little thing. You only need to open up the door in the morning and close them up at night, make sure they have food and water, and clean their cage every once in a while. It's much like a litter box. They don't need to be walked. You're so cute when you eat. Goats are very time intensive.